Let's go to town. I have not driven myself to town for a year and a half, and it's very important for my survival and safety that I be able to do that. My friend Sherilyn has been here in my transition for the last 8, 9 months, whatever it is, 10 perhaps, that I've come back to the Bosque. And, when I came back, I was very non-functional. I can now walk around. I can carry half a bucket of liquid. I'm going to need to learn to cook for myself. But this is a big test, is can I drive myself to town and get a short list of things done? Let's find out how functional or non-functional Brian is. Excellent. Okay. So, I'm driving my death machine, fueled by oil and gasoline, on a real road. I've driven around the Bosque a little bit, but now I'm on a road where there's danger and there's cars, and I have to make sure my legs are strong enough to use the brakes and not hurt anyone. And there's like hazards, like there's a dog there, there's a dog there. Who knows what's around the corner? So this is exciting for my independence, but I'm very, conscious of security, and I want to be really careful as I drive down the road, not to do anything risky. So we'll be in town soon.
Yep.
So we're in town, squeezing through small places with the big van. And first order of business is to go fill up the tire that's too low. I actually need to have a system in the van for that, like an air compressor or something, because my right tire gets low a lot, and that's also a security problem because I would have a harder time changing my tire right now. This is really big tires on this van. It's a very heavy vehicle, and so I can't withstand anything going wrong right now. It's really important. So for now, I'm just going to fill it up. Ultimately, I need to buy all new tires. I've needed to buy new tires for years. Luckily, right now, I barely drive. So a set of tires will last me a long time. And I'm driving carefully in town because there's dogs and children and various hazards. Holy shit, that's low. Oh my God, that's low. I got almost no air in my tire at all. Even standing up in weird positions is hard. All my muscles are weak. It's annoying. I don't know how my other tires are doing. I think my other tires are good. This is just a slow tire. This should become a spare tire. Although I don't know how good it is to have a bad spare tire. What I really need is a machine in the van that can inflate tires using the cigarette lighter. But the van is old, it's from '97, and so the van cigarette lighter doesn't work, which means I have to have some other kind of thing. So I just, I got to reduce risk. That's my main thing. I've got things failing all around me, and now that I'm failed, my legs have failed partly, I'm in a very dangerous spot. I think that's pretty good. I'll get a little gasoline. So I'm getting gasoline. I'm only getting 500 pesos worth just because my tank is low and I don't want to run out of gas far from a gas machine. When I first moved here, there was no gas station in this town. So you either had to go all the way around the lake to Pátzcuaro, or you had to get it from a guy who had a barrel of gasoline and he would pump you out a little bit. Right now it's 18 pesos and 50 centavos per liter. You can do a conversion on that. I think it's 4 liters to the gallon. So let's just call that 20 pesos. So therefore 20 times 4 is 80. So it's $4 a gallon. If you check my math, you can write a comment insulting me, but I don't worry that much about being dictated by the fascists who control math.
Listo. Está muy picado de abajo.
Entonces, no debo usarlo nada.
No, ya no es recomendado pues cargarle.
Okay. Entonces, debo vaciarlo y tal vez una soldadera. Pueden cortarlo y puedo hacer una campana. ¿Campana? Arte o algo.
Sí, sí, no, porque para gas ya no se puede utilizar.
No. Ok. ¿Y este? Puedes quitar pintura si quieres.
Creo que este está un poquito mejorcito.
¿Sí? Ok, pues voy a intentar usar este una vez más entonces.
Este todavía le funciona.
Ok, so vamos a llenar este y este.
Ah, muy bien.
Okay. So the deal is we got one of these propane tanks here is so rusted on the bottom that it's become a security risk to fill it and use it. And we definitely don't want a propane explosion. I don't know if you've seen any videos where propane explodes. I hope to not be making any of those kind of videos. And then I've got a couple small tanks here that are very convenient for like having a stove in a cabana. It's awfully nice, to have hot drinks in the winter and shit like that. And then what they do is they just charge me for whatever they fill up. The price per liter right now is 10.62 pesos. And este tiene cuántos litros?
¿Le cabe 52 litros?
52 litros.
¿Le ponemos eso?
Sí, podemos llenarlo. ¿Y este cuánto piensa tiene?
A este le caben 18.
18 litros.
Sí, que en kilos serían 10.
Okay.
Y en este que en kilos serían 30.
Ok. ¿Y este?
Este le caben 16.
16 litros.
Sí, es un kilo más chico que este de acá.
Ok. Excelente. Set. So what am I going to do with that bad gas tank? Well, I'm going to try and get all the gas out of it if there's any residual gas, and then find a guy who is a metal worker who does soldering, or not soldering, welding, and cut off the bottom of it. We can hang it, and have a baseball bat, you can hit it and be like a bell. I know that when I went to Burning Man at the gate, they had those, and you could just whack on them and make these cool noises. So I don't know if that's what I'll do with it. Maybe I'll incorporate it as part of some kind of a stove or oven I build. But that piece of metal is a really special piece of metal that is going to be super useful for something. If you have suggestions of what I should do with it, brainstorming and ideas, what is the use of an old propane tank, particularly the long kind? So if I'm all about renewable energy, why the heck am I getting propane, which is a fossil fuel, I guess? It's because it's so dang convenient. We can do things with solar and wood, and those are the ideals. Solar whenever you can do it, wood when you can, but for now it's so easy, very cheap to use propane. Gotta go pay. So, I like to go to...
No, you stop. I don't want to walk backwards.
Right. So, my dogs love to get bones from the butcher. Let's go see the butcher.
¿Mañana?
¿Vas a tener huesos mañana?
Para mañana.
Ok. Y también va a ser mi cumpleaños en un rato. Buenos días.
¿Ah?
Y quiero conocer cuál es el corte de res más fino. Como una steak. Un steak de ese de hueso. T-bone steak. ¿Y cuánto cuestan?
Sale a 180 el kilo de timón.
180 el kilo. ¿Y tienes listo hoy o más tarde?
Para mañana.
Otro día.
Para mañana. Voy a matar ahora para mañana.
Ah, vas a matar mañana.
Ahora, hoy, jueves,
para tenerlo mañana. Ok. ¿Y vas a tener el día después de mañana también? ¿O
solamente yo creo mañana.
Mejor mañana.
Mejor mañana.
Ok. Muy probable voy a pasar mañana entonces. Ok, muchas gracias.
Ándale, cuídate.
Now I know why everybody's been whining about masks online. I don't wear a mask because I live in the forest and hardly have contact with anyone. But I like that people are wearing them around here. It's excellent. This is really great to be back in the town, walking around on my own. I felt so bad. Hola, ¿cómo están? Martín, Silvia.
Qué gusto verte.
Muy bueno verte.
Sí,
¿Ya está colectando más tierra
sí.
por tus cactus?
Todo el tiempo.
Excelente, hola, hola.
Ajá. Voy a hacer una.
So, the butcher says that, because I asked him if I can get a steak for my birthday. I want it to be thick, like the best quality. He says that today he's going to kill a cow, and that tomorrow I could get a T-bone steak, and that's what he can offer me as the best. So I might do that. I might come down just for that. Just, even though I'm not that into my birthday, you know, I might as well celebrate in some way. I don't do a lot. Now, do I feel bad about eating meat here? This is a big topic with a lot of people who are vegetarians or vegans who are against animal cruelty. Well, I'm against animal cruelty. I think that if I'm going to eat meat, it should be raised in a non-industrial environment. That it shouldn't be pumped full of chemicals in a feedlot. But I know how the cows here grow up. I watch them. They just wander around and eat grass. They eat stuff on dirt roads on the side, so they clear the road. And yeah, they're being raised to kill, to feed people. And so I take this kind of compromised position where I only want to eat ethical meat that was raised a certain way. And this is true also with the chickens I raise. I don't want to eat eggs that are made by other chickens. I want to raise my own eggs. And I don't even prefer to raise chickens for meat because I think they're so good at making these prepackaged animal product things called eggs. I have raised rabbits. I think that's a really great way to go if you want meat, but I don't raise them in cages. I'm against that. I do what's called colony raising of rabbits, meaning they have a big space, still fenced, but enough space for them to live happy lives, bounce around, have sex, have babies, have little rabbit families. And then yeah, I do go in and I select some out when they're big enough and I kill them, and that's, you know, that's my philosophy of meat. I should make a whole other video just about that. I do realize that if you're a vegan, you're going to hate me anyway, so I give up on you. And you know, if you're vegetarian, I understand that I'm totally in support of vegan vegetarian diets, I think it's more healthy. I think it's better ecologically. But those are the choices I make. So sometimes I'm going to come down here and get meat. The other thing I get down here is dog bones from the butcher. They're not bones of dogs. They're bones from the butcher for the dogs. And the dogs love that. Certainly if anybody's against meat eating, you should tell me why I shouldn't feed my dogs meat. That might be amusing. Today, I guess I'll just have to wait. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll get a chicken. So we're going to get a roast chicken because I didn't get anything at the butcher. And I'm not going to get a pizza. They do have good pizza up the street over there. And but the person living with me in the Bosque at the moment doesn't eat gluten, which is bread, I guess, and then cheese. That kind of kills the pizza idea. So we'll get us some roast chicken. This is extremely flavorful. It's cooked on charcoal. I probably know the guy and have made charcoal with the guy who sells this charcoal. He comes down with his burro to town. These are 130 pesos each, so a little under $7 each, and extremely tasty. Not my ideal chicken in some ways, but I should tell you, if you haven't eaten meat, which I haven't had any meat for 2 weeks at all, or cheese, so I'm basically eating like a vegan. I don't mind having a chicken occasionally. ¿Cuánto es en total?
2.60.
2.70, okay. Sí.
Sí,
Okay, muchas gracias.
de nada.
So on the way home, after a pretty short day really, we decided to stop off at the cemetery of Yotatiro, a tiny town. This cemetery is new, so there's a lot of space, not a lot of residents. And this is where Day of the Dead happens. It's a pretty cool spot. I may end up here someday. It seems like a very pleasant cemetery, lots of green around it, lots of trees. And that'd be cool, because I feel a great connection to Yotatiro. I love that little town, and so many people there have been so kind over the years. I know a few people in here. There's one in particular I wish wasn't here. He was a young guy, died too young, with a group of friends driving drunk on curvy roads. So that's unfortunate. I hope it'll be a while before I end up here. Of course, I could get buried in the Bosque, but I still don't know what the future of the Bosque land is. So let's walk around a little bit and visit some people. So this is my next door neighbor, has the property below me. Lots of nice people. I remember some of them. And these big wreaths are left over from Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead's actually one of the most magically cool ways to deal with death that I know of. I really like it. You can watch the Disney movie Coco and learn a little bit about it. You would think Disney wouldn't do a good job on interpreting such a really amazing tradition, but they actually did really well. They hired people to give them kind of cultural consulting. The director of it just came down for Day of the Dead a couple years ago, and it's a very entertaining story, and has some of the cool traditions. Some of the basic idea is that you live as long as somebody remembers you, and it's not quite a karma thing, and it's not about heaven or something that you go to, but it's this idea that what you do in this life, the ripples of effect you have in other people's lives are what matter. And for me, it's an encouragement to be a good person and to make sure that I left the world better than I found it. And a lot of that has to do with how I treat people, which doesn't mean I'm just going to walk around being obsequiously nice or anything. But, I'm kind of a hardcore guy in some ways. But it matters what each one of us does. So, I don't know. It's a nice, peaceful spot. And it's nice memories of good people here. This isn't even a big one. Well, that was an excellent day. Wasn't even a hard day by normal standards, but it pushes the limits of my legs, what they can do right now. I got a long way to go. So I have to prepare for when Sherilyn leaves. She'll be leaving probably next month, and then I'll be alone. So I have to look for funding and people to survive for a while. And more importantly than that, well, that's a request, by the way, is I would like funding. Check it out if you like what I do. But more importantly than surviving is thriving. More important than thriving is creating and providing things that are actually going to cause the world to thrive. It is my belief, my strong belief after a lifetime of education, not in class, but self-education, is that the world is in for some really tough times. And so we have to be thinking about survival as a species. We might want to save our civilization somewhat. And that means we're going to have to change how we live. And that's what this whole project's all about. It's not all about me. Right now I'm most of the project. But the philosophy of it is what can get distributed to the world. I want to do that for free. Somebody recently told me, well, you should sell books and you should sell some of your information and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I'm willing to do that. Like I'm willing to provide special content for supporters, more personal content perhaps. But the knowledge that we produce here is something I want to be providing for free to the world. How to build composting toilets, how to do agriculture in a sustainable way, actually sustainable, how to ignore all the greenwashing bullshit and look at what energy systems actually pencil out. We have some very hard work to do here that almost no one is doing. So I hope you're on board on that team. Whether you're a financial supporter or not, I will give you everything I have in terms of information. And whether you're a financial supporter or not, I hope that you're looking at your own life. I'm a big fan of personal responsibility and how you can change the world. I know it's impossible. I know you're stuck where you're at and you have few options. We can't change things. Most everything is headed towards total destruction. But you can choose to, in your life, tweak things a little bit. Taking care of yourself, taking care of others, using less, and thinking in really an expanded way about culture as a whole and how we can design a different culture, a different way of living to serve the entire world. Yeah, that gets pretty lofty, doesn't it? Well, after a long day like this, I did buy a couple beers and I'm going to have those. I hope you have your ways to do a little self-care as well. So, adios, good luck. Thanks for coming with me on a trip to town. Sincerely, thank you for watching these videos. It makes me feel a little less alone. And I know a lot of people are alone right now in the pandemic and everything. So thank you for coming with me. For me, this has been a big step. I've been in a year and a half of healing since this split-second fall from a roof. I'm still weak, and I'm going to get better, but it's been a long haul. So I know a lot of people have supported me in that, and have written words of encouragement. So thank you so much for being part of this whole project. I feel like a little kid, but I'm so happy. I went to town by myself. I can do my own things. Yay, I'm a big boy now. So there's one more person to thank, and that's Sherilyn. She's been here, and she's helped me transition back into the forest. When I was so weak I couldn't take care of myself at all. Today was an experiment in me becoming stronger, and mostly her role today was just videoing. And so, you know, I had to do everything myself, and that's an experiment in seeing if I can. Can I survive here? It's not easy.